Do me a favor, man. Come this way.
What's
Put
going
your hand
on?
behind your back.
What's
Put
going
your hand
on?
behind your back.
Change down my back. Okay, got it. Got it. Is there any reason y'all doing this, bro?
Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
Oh, what's going on, internet friends? Got another story for you guys today. So apparently, the director of Black Panther, you guys remember that big movie, Wakanda Forever? Ryan Coogler was detained, nearly arrested. He was actually mistaken for a bank robber, of all things. Yeah, apparently he walked into a Bank of America and he put his card in the machine and, he did the normal stuff. And he went to withdraw $12,000, I think. And $12,000 sounds like, kind of a lot of money, but not necessarily. And it certainly wouldn't necessarily be unusual for a guy like, Ryan Coogler to want to take out 12 grand. Maybe he was going to go to the strip club or something, Maybe he had to gas up all of his vehicles or something like that. Who knows? But the idea that he would walk into a Bank of America and just immediately get arrested, just assumed to be a bank robber. It is a little absurd. It really is a little absurd. I know this is one of those things where racism would get thrown around. They did it because he's black. I don't know that. I'm not going to jump right out there and say that. I do understand that is the phrase that pays nowadays, but I am not willing to go out and right away call this a completely racist incident because I don't really know the racial makeup of any of the staff at the bank, and I don't really know the exact nature of any of the interactions that went on in the bank between Mr. Coogler and the staff. So it's really, really, really hard for me to go out on the limb and say this is a purely racist incident. But it certainly is very, very hard to understand how could this even happen. I mean, even in the whole, COVID era where everybody's walking around with masks on, it would seem like, a simple matter of him presenting identification, him presenting his bank credentials, and then being treated like any other bank customer. I really don't understand how this happened. I just don't. But I also have managed to get a snippet of the 911 call that one of the bank employees made. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, so I just told my manager I didn't feel comfortable. So he told me to call police while he, I guess, stalled for
What
a
is
minute.
what is on the note, ma'am?
It just says I want to withdraw $12,000. Just be discreet.
Is this an actual customer, or are they trying to rob the bank?
They had a debit card and he inserted it. He gave me a California ID, but I was like, okay. How do you want the cash back? And he's like, just look at the note.
And he had no weapons, correct?
Not that I know of. He just has on black sunshades and a black hat.
Is he a black male, white male?
He's a black male. And every time I ask him like a question, he's like, look at the note.
So, okay.
But he inserted his debit card, and then I asked for his ID. He handed me his ID as a California ID. But I didn't look at his name because I'm just like so shook up. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do. So I just told him, give me one moment. I have to get my manager.
Okay, so none of his information was even verified. Okay. He might just want to be discreet, but I have police en route.
Yeah, I mean, he might. It just seemed weird.
All right, well, listening to that, I gotta tell you, the caller does sound like a black lady. So the question kind of gets put to the back burner now. It just seems like an overly cautious bank employee, apparently. And then, you know, he's walking in there handing the lady notes and whatnot. That is a little bit odd. That is a little bit odd. So the whole thing is just a very weird situation, apparently. And I'm going to show you now the conversation that took place between Mr. Coogler and the officers who responded to this call.
All I need you to understand.
Have you ever considered speaking to them before you make a transaction like that? Have you ever had something like this happen?
Have I ever been arrested?
No.
Wait, what?
Listen to what he's saying.
Have you
Listen.
ever?
No, I am listening.
Okay. Have you ever considered speaking to them about what it is you're trying to do prior to doing?
So can I explain something to you, bro?
Yeah.
I went to CVS out here the other day to get a vaccine. I came outside and smelled like with smoke in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? While I was getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to around out here, bro. Like, I'm not saying out loud how much money I'm taking up. That's why I'm writing it down.
I'm not talking about speaking to somebody like that. I'm saying, hey, can I speak to a manager in an office somewhere? Have you ever considered doing something like that?
I'm gonna consider it now that y'all drew guns on me. I was trying to take money out. But up to this point, at every Bank of America I ever gone to in my entire life, just never happened.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So y'all explaining y'all perspective, right?
Yeah.
Y'all the ones with guns and vests. You know what I'm saying? What's my perspective? What's my perspective?
You know, I can kind of see how this whole misunderstanding could even happen. It really is like a comedy of errors. And this is really an example of how you should conduct yourself in these situations, particularly, you know, from the black male perspective. You have to speak clearly and without extra emotion and energy. And I suppose it does help to have the confidence of millions and millions of dollars in your bank account. You know, that does go a long way to smoothing over these issues too, I suppose.
I know
At the bank, she never said it was a problem, bro.
Yeah.
I said, hey, is that gonna be okay with you? She said, yeah. I put my own card in, put my own PIN in. She asked to see my ID. I gave it to her.
Yeah.
And she goes in the back, and I'm waiting for the and then the people keep coming out. Hey, they taking care of you. They taking care of you. Everything's it's taking a little while. Next thing I hear Glocks.
Yeah.
I hear Glocks getting pulled out. That's what I hear.
You're a Glock.
I hear Glocks getting pulled out from unholstering. Hey, sir, can I talk to you for a minute? You understand what I'm saying? So you see my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
How many options you got on that?
it's not.
Now, if you look at that piece of paper they're passing around, it does look like that may be the note he in fact handed the teller. And so it's kind of like, come on, bro. You walked in there and handed the lady a bank robbery note. I mean, not really, but that's what bank robbers do. Oh, man, it's just a really unfortunate day. But apparently, he and the Bank of America have kissed and made up, and everything's fine now. So that was an interesting day in the life of the director of Black Panther. You know, Wakanda forever. But thank you guys so much for listening. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you later. Have a good day. Peace.